very much a grassroots-driven adoption of these types of technologies. So departmental buys, individual user buys, people within companies buying these collaboration tools to then use themselves. We've seen that at a macro level with a tool like the iPhone. Enterprises adopted the iPhone because so many individuals have adopted it, and we're seeing it more and more with cloud-based collaboration solutions as well. So all of that is by way of saying that 5 users per company is a pretty modest forecast.
Which again is our design with this ROI spreadsheet. And when you guys call in, we'll be able to provide you with a customized view of your exact ROI. But my belief is always give me the low rung of what I can expect before I spend my money. And I think once you put in some more realistic numbers relevant to your business, you're going to get a truer picture of the real ROI snapshot that you have in front of you. And I think you'll be pleasantly encouraged by it.
So I'm surprised we don't have more questions about these particular slides. I would encourage anybody who's got questions around pricing and distribution to ask them. Love to get a dialogue going here. We've got a few on the line. Just as a status check, the next thing we're going to do is look at features in terms of how to sell it. That'll be brief. We'll then break the presentation, and that'll be the end of the actual presentation component in about 10 minutes, and then we'll go into QA and product demo. So some questions here. Let me just go back a couple.
If this is the time.
Okay, Thomas asks, with the recent hiccups at Amazon and Google, what kind of guarantee can we offer our clients regarding the recoverability of the files if you have server issues? Well, Thomas, so again, all of the same elements of our back-end storage platform apply to Collaborate. So our 11 global data centers, our constant replication of your data. So that same robustness that applies to our back-end for backup is going to apply to Collaborate as well. Aaron's got a question here. Is the client available for Apple as well as Microsoft users? And if not, are there plans to expand the client for use on Apple platform as well? Great question, Aaron. There is no client. So this is a web-driven application. Your primary method of interacting with it is that web-based application, which we're going to see in just a couple of minutes. Scott asks, does Collaborate keep the files in their native formats? Absolutely, Scott. Thomas writes, will users be able to collaborate with one another if different resellers sign them up? Thomas, yeah, Collaborate accounts will work across enterprise boundaries, if you will. All right, okay, so Scott asks, will you talk about how to justify paying for Collaborate while there's free services out there such as Microsoft Office web apps, Dropbox, Google Docs, etc.? Scott, a great question, but I challenge your premise. I don't believe there are free tools for businesses like this. Microsoft Office Web Docs is great if you're an individual user, but you can't really adopt it as a small office or as an enterprise without paying for it. The Office 365 technology is Microsoft's offering for a cloud-based equivalent, and it is very much a paid service. Same thing with Google Docs. You've got to buy an enterprise account. Box.net charges $15 per user per month, etc. Dropbox is only free for 2 gigs. A, and B, very much a consumer-grade tool. So I think all of those arguments would be arguments you'd be bringing to bear in conversations with your customers, and we can talk more about that. Thomas asks, which devices have apps, or is it all browser-based? Totally browser-based, Thomas. We are going to be launching iOS, iPad, and iPhone native clients, but it's totally compatible with all those devices out of the gate. Keith writes, will you be selling this direct on your site? If so, do you sell an MSRP of $15 per user too? So Keith, we don't sell it directly currently. We're pushing it out to our channel right now. As with backup, we will sell it directly in a small way to make sure we're in touch with the market and continue to feed that market intelligence to our channel. Our primary path to the market is through you, our channel, our partners. But if and when we do sell it directly, yes, we will be charging $15 per users per seat. So that's why that's our MSRP on that. Greg writes, is 1 terabyte the max, or can it grow beyond? So Greg, a terabyte is a hell of a lot of space for collaboration. Remember that this product's to be used in conjunction with the backup product, and you're going to see integration between those, very tight integration between those products. So you'll be able to back up your Collaborate instance to SOS Backup and see it right there in your backup view. So if you can picture right now the SOS recovery view, I've got my Toshiba, my HP laptop, my Win7 Compact, and then I'll have my Collaborate instance. And then also the inverse of that, I'll be able to publish from my backup account into my Collaborate account. But generally, you would use your SOS backup account for long-term backup and archiving, and you would use Collaborate for active content. You would not use something like Collaborate to archive old content. That's really not what it's targeted at. Stone asks, what are the advantages in cost saving comparing to no Collaborate? That's a great question, Stone. It depends what tools are in place. So this is going to replace technology like SharePoint in a lot of cases. It's also going to, for small businesses, it just completely replaces document management systems. So it means that document management solutions, which have been having a lot of trouble moving to this new cloud-based world we live in, Collaborate's an answer to that. So this is more about saving your customers money. Derek?
Yeah, and to that point, our partner delivery team, we do a lot of interaction, sending files to different team members, receiving files from customers. And the use of Collaborate actually really collapses the whole cycle of that team effort. You know, we get a logo from a partner. Sometimes it's difficult because the logo is too big for email transfer, so the partner has to figure out, okay, how do I get this to them? Maybe I'll FTP it or whatever it is. Collaborate has a really nice function for that type of work where we can have what we call an incoming folder setup. And all you do is you have a link and we push it up to the cloud and we get a notification that you sent it to us. And then our team internally will get notified each time that a file gets updated and when it's ready. So as far as a hard cost, it really takes looking at the processes that you're working in. Think about even within sales, what's the turnaround time having to use these other tools versus using a tool that makes it so much faster. So it's a little bit of savings in many different places that adds up to an overall huge increase in your pace of business.
All right, so flipping through to, so we're going to look just here right now at this features matrix, and then we're going to break the presentation and move into the Q&A and demo. There's a lot going on this slide, but this gives you a flavor of all of the power built into the product from the ground up. Everything from admin dashboards to being able to run multiple logins, control storage quotas, brand the tool, run different plugins and applications on the interface, build reports, view statistics, undelete files, search files, set file retention policies, use incoming folders, which is sort of what Derek talked about. Think of it as like a file inbox. Guest accounts, zip downloads, audit trails, sharing and unsharing, viewing in browser, collaboration folders, goes on and on and on. Best way for us to talk through all this is to actually walk through the technology with you, and we're going to do that in just a minute. But for those of you who only signed up for a 45-minute webinar, apologies for running a little bit long, Jeff, what are the details of getting access to a free account? I want to get everyone's attention on the webinar. We can see how many of you are actually looking at the screen. This is a time to look at the screen because this is how you get access to your free Collaborate instance.
Yeah, again, as Ken had mentioned, the best way to understand this technology and how easy it is to use and therefore how readily you can sell it is, first of all, for you to use it yourselves and within your environment. So we want to do exactly that. And so we will give you a free trial. All you need to do is just call your partner specialist, and they will get that set up for you. The telephone number is right there on the screen. Now, once you opt to move forward with your white label program, it is very simple. You just select the plan previous to the ROI slide that we discussed, and you start to discuss it with your client base. And once you get really your foot in the door at that user level, it is amazing how quick and how viral it spreads throughout that organization. And we all know that intuitively because we'll have a project that we're working on with one other person or two other people, and some segment of that project will come up where, hey, we're going to need to ask Bob about that. Well, okay, then now Bob gets added as a collaborator. And then Bob's not going to have the answer to something, so it's going to move over to Sally. By the time they know it, they have 5, 10, 15 users within that existing organization. And that's all monthly revenue to you. So we're very excited about that element of it. And we want to get all of it started very simply, very easily by giving you the ability to use it yourself in your environment. So just call that number. The partner specialist will get you set up right away, and you'll have the ability to start working with this software that we're going to show you.
That number for non-American callers is +1 for America, 310, help me out, Jeff, 896-3611. Yeah, I'm saying not the free call. The free call only works for US.
Yeah, okay.
It's 310-878-2626.